So you listed here. So it's mostly about budgeting. That's like the main and only. I guess there's familiars here as well, but it's mostly about budgeting for tomorrow. Yeah, it's tomorrow
Yeah,
already, right?
yeah. So most of my concerns are budgeting for the mules and start forcing for my main mules and also for the Genesis weapon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's different layers to that, of course, on what you want to. There's what you want for that thing, and then there's what you kind of are expected to get for that thing, right? Um, for most classes, almost all the classes, the three-line attack is basically brain dead, the one that you want to go for, but that is, quite a bit more expensive than the just quote-unquote 2 lines of attack and 1 line of boss, although that is pretty close in how much damage that gives you, right?
Yeah.
So there's always that question, like, do you spend that initial extra, extra 40 bill or so, on that potential, or do you let that slide into other things into your account where you can use that extra money for other things? Or do you want to go for that initial push towards, because you don't have any cubes left from the, because Miracle Time is always more than a month after the cube sale, right? So all of those cubes are gone. You don't have anything saved up there. Did you check the exact cost? Because I always need to double check the.
I didn't check the exact cost because I was just going to throw cubes until I got at least 2 line attack, 1 line boss.
Okay, yeah, that's your. Okay, because I think that's a reasonable.
That's fine.
Yeah. So it's not as crazy expensive as you think. Of course, you can have outliers, you can get unlucky, but like the 23 attack and 30, or would you be okay with like a?
Yeah, 23 and 30 is fine.
Yeah, not like a 35 and 20 or something.
I guess
Like
that would depend on how much
boss.
money I spent at that point.
Yeah. Okay, no, that's yeah. So that would be this one: a 2 line attack and 1 line boss is actually not nearly that crazy, right? So any like boss 2 line attack combo is only like 11 bill. So it's not super crazy, but as soon as you start like specifically trying to look for this, it's probably a little bit more than double. Yeah, there's like 23.4. 23.3. I can still read. So, but these are still very doable, right? Like if you compare to 33% attack, now that's more than double of that. And now it's like, I know that's what we want, and we hope that you hit that. But that is like 5 to 6 times just any boss at 2 line attack, right? And then compared to your whole account, what's your weekly income like?
Right now I make about 25, 26 bill a week from mostly from bossing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I wouldn't say like spending 2 weeks worth of money on a Genesis weapon potential. That's not a bad thing, right? I think that's a good investment. But whether you have that money right now is the main question, right? If you're okay with rolling something with like a 2 line attack and a line of boss, yeah, seems like somewhere under 20 bill should be able to hit something like that. So if you fundamentally want to save as much as possible for the Shining Star Force, we'll look at the projects and everything. It looks like you have about at least 70 to play with. You're living like right on the 1st, or you can live starting on the 1st of January?
Yeah, I was just trying to do it like as a New Year's event, right?
Yeah, okay. That makes sense. Okay. Yeah, so the great thing about the Genesis weapons now is that you don't have to budget anything for flames, because events just throw flames at you. You're pretty much always getting that flame for free, as long as you participate in the event, which I assume you're doing.
Yeah, I have about probably 500 ready, just sitting there in event shops.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. And the extra, would you get an extra 100 from the snow thing, like yesterday, I think, right?
Snow thing. I'm not sure what you're talking about.
Like the login clock thing?
Yeah, right. The Wicked Wonderland, right?
I forget all the names, bro. I have to click all of them before I before I find what I'm looking for.
It's the one where you accumulate playtime?
Yeah, it was the 35-hour one? Sorry, I already claimed it.
I don't
45-hour one?
I already have the 35 claimed, but I haven't claimed any Black Rebirth flames from events.
Oh, was it not here? Oh, I thought there was a stack there.
Are you talking about the Book of Forgotten festivals?
No, the Wicked Wonderland. I feel like there was one, but maybe I'm confusing it with yeah, maybe I'm confusing it with that. Oh, someone said 20 hours is 30 black flames.
Yeah, I
Oh,
still
is it
have that.
just there? Okay.
Still have that available. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, maybe it's in the other stack. There's so many events going on right now, bro. My old brain can't even keep all of them apart. I'm just clicking, and trying to use resources, trying to choose many. And then we have Ride or Die on top of that. You have the Ride or Die shop with also more flames, right? So you'll have a bunch of Eternal Flames that you can throw on, and then if you get anything that's even remotely good, you can throw a bunch of the Black Flames on. So that's basically free. You have some souls saved up?
Yeah, I have a lot of souls saved up. I probably have 20 Magna souls.
Okay, nice, yeah. Well, you're 283. Did you start lib a little bit late, or did you just level very quickly?
So I just came back around Go West, like the middle of Go West, and I was already 275 before that.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so I started late.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. If you stop for a long time, then back then 275 probably just wasn't enough, right? Or it was like barely on the level that 6 job and everything has pushed things, and just other people being stronger and everyone getting stronger has pushed Liberation so much earlier in the game. I think like a new person who knows what they're doing on like, not a new character, but on a decently leveled account will definitely start living before they reach level 270. It's kind of crazy, because back in the day, I mean, there were people in the guild like past level 284 or something that I had to like, come on, let's do Black Mage, and because they didn't feel confident in their skill, it was like, let's just put 3 people like you together, and you could just blow that thing up, you know, with like 4 or 5 practice runs. So we've been doing that now, because it is really easy to just be like, oh yeah, it's a little too far away from me, I'll just do it later, and then before you know it, like, damn, if I started when I said that, I could have been lib next month, and then
right.
I don't know if you saw the changes to the liberation process, because you might be in the situation as well where you're trying to lib maybe other characters. But yeah, I hope they change that for GMS, because that's not looking good, honestly.
Yeah, I saw it. So you say it's not looking good, but I thought if you can solo everything up to Vihila, it's slightly faster.
Yeah, if you can solo everything, but it takes you a while to be able to solo those things, right? So for... I think most people now in Chronos, like, there's still a lot of people just trying to get their first solo and everything. But then being forced to solo all the bosses all of those weeks, for a lot of people, that's not what they want to do, right? They want to just get the clears, they want to duo. And then even if you're getting solo carried, so if you're like duoing it with someone, then I think it's barely faster than now. So if you miss a week somewhere, or right, for the other thing is just show up once a month, red dot, don't die out, and you're guaranteed those 8 months. But it seems like now it might actually be slower if you don't, because if you do show up for Black Mage, right, you get 100 points. That's only a fifth of what you need. So,
right.
Yeah.
So even if you want to just get carried only on Black Mage, you're actually slowing down the process for at least in heroic.
Yeah, you have to get carried by one other person, right? So that they can't give that slot to anyone else. And then you'd only get 300. So then you'd only get like 60% of the required early on. And then later you only get 30% of the required, because you need 1,000 there. So I wonder if they're going to change that for heroic at all. Because obviously this is all planned with this. That's reasonable speed of progressing, because you could just buy equips and fund your character, right? But you can't really do that in heroic. You have to wait for drops, so you're time gated way more by progress. The further you go, the more time gated you get. In the beginning, you actually, you go faster, but that starts to whittle down very quickly around the level that you would start Black Mage, I feel. So yeah. But yeah, that's like a side thing, I guess. But I guess for a lot of the people who are trying to scale up on libbing, like I'm scaling up a lot of mules on libbing who just have no business being in those runs as attackers. And for those characters, it'd be impossible to keep leveling or keep liberating at the same speed, basically, because they get to the level of hard Lotus, hard Damien solo, and then just like barely with the liberation duos get through those runs. But if I had to do that every single week on all of those characters, that'd be an insane time sink just to live in like 6.5 months instead of 8. Like that'd be wild, I think. Okay, so I say we initially write down 20 bill or so for the cubes. I think that's fair.
Yep.
But we'll see if there's some other great projects that maybe cut into that a little bit. Because, I mean, you can make the money for the cubes back very easily. So if you say 0 for the Liberation Weapon, as much as that sucks, it might be better to go all out on Shining Star Force and then just give you a week or two to make that money back, and then over the 2 weeks, or over 1 or 2 weeks, right, make that money and spend it on the weapon. If it comes to that, it's still better because no cube sale, but there's more than 50% off during Shining Star Force, so your money would be twice as efficient there than putting it on the weapon, as much as it would suck if you don't have the money right away to throw on the weapon as you get it, right? But at least you can do a whole bunch of flaming.
Right. Yeah, I think now that you say that, I'm probably going to try and spend as much on Shining, and then after I can maybe wait a week, get 20 bill from bossing, and then spend that as cubes on the weapon. Makes sense.
Yeah, because sometimes when you look at it in terms of amounts of mesos, it still feels like a lot because it probably took you a lot of time to build up to make the kind of money that you're making now. But if you look at it in terms of how many weeks of meso that is, it suddenly doesn't feel that bad to wait like 2 weeks to get the money, mathematically the money almost to get a 3-line attack when it's something that you've been waiting on for 8 months anyway. Like, what's another 2 weeks, right? To make sure that it's like locked in, because this is your perma weapon for even when we're going to be upgrading it with the what's the new name again? Not Genesis weapon. That's what this one already is. Destiny weapon, right? With the Destiny weapon, like, it's probably still going to like copy the current stats on it. So it's that's a lock in for so long, right? Request a coaching for my friend Kronk. Yeah, probably, yeah. If you have channel points, go for it, bro. Okay, and then the other mules, familiars, suppose operation started soloing. Hearts aren't currently soloing normal. Are you soloing normal right now because of like time constraint, or are you doing solo progression?
It's mostly because I don't want to have to set a time for every week. Yeah, with one person just doing it. So I've just been soloing on normal, and then eventually when I liberate, I think I should be able to do it now, but I just want to make it easier with the 10-second iframe.
Yeah, that'll help quite a bit. It just extends your burst quite a bit, right? You can, especially with those instinctual combo lasts quite a bit, so you want to make sure that you can confirm all that damage. It would be really nice. By the way, you probably know more about it because you're specifically maining hero. Do you roar then origin, or do you origin then roar?
I haven't tested it, but I've noticed that my burst gets a lot of damage. My origin gets a lot of bonus damage from the roar. So I've been doing roar and origin.
Yeah, because I've been too, but I don't really main the class, so I'm not sure if I'm like giving up on a lot of damage. Sometimes I'm stupid and I press instinctual combo, then roar, then origin, and then you just lose like 9 seconds of instinctual combo. That's definitely, I'm definitely sure that that's not what you want to do. But yeah, I haven't. I'm just hero, man. I just like slash my axe and things die. That's all I know, dude. Like, I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel here. Get arcanes, 3-line potential gear, increase flames. Yeah, it seems like good general stuff. Are you? What's your situation with in terms of Eternals and pitches? Any progress there?
So yeah, right now I have 2 pitches. I have an ET waiting for I guess in half a day. Yeah, I have two set. I have an extra source. I already have a 22, but I got an extra one just yesterday. Yeah, and
what's the 2 set? Is it a book or?
Yeah, book and source.
Book and source. Okay. Nice. That's good to have those done. Yeah.
Yeah, those are the easy ones. Quote unquote easy.
Yeah, quote unquote easy. Yeah. Well, if you have an old account with saved up Gollux coins, which I think you did, right? Then, or like with even saved up backup pendants, right? Which was even crazier. The amount of progress that gives you. Then source is relatively easy, but it could still go wrong. Every single tap, it could still go wrong. So, yeah, trying to get source 23 is probably not a good idea to do that right now. ET, that's an easy tap. That'll probably only, I'll probably only set you back like 10 to 15 bill at most, even if it's like gonna take a while, right? I think most of those things either go or boom in like 8 to 10 bill, especially during a Shining. You got the enhancement room, right?
Yes.
Okay, safeguarding. And you're 22 or nothing, Ing? Because
So I was gonna ask about that too. If I want to sit at 19, 21, or 22, is that mostly a personal preference?
yeah, it's like a risk assessment preference, but I think you should heavily be guided by what you already have as pieces and whether it's going to be even an upgrade or not. And then if you would settle, what the plan would be after that and whether you think that's something that's realistic and that you would want to do even, like the follow-up. So if you have this setup, basically at 21, at 19 it'll still be weaker, I think, than a kind of treasure. Maybe the set bonus can like do something there, but I think you probably want to need 20, and then if you're 20, you're so close to 21, right?
Yeah.
So I basically see only
21, you went about 22.
yeah, but then you have like wait a minute, we just ran from 19 to 22, so I think 21 is already a considerable upgrade over a kind of treasure. So I wouldn't fault anyone who has like a higher level risk assessment to hold on to a 21 ET, just to get the set rolling, because you know that you have another year plus before all the other pieces come in anyway, and if there's another ET in the meantime, then you can still try to 22 that while you're waiting for the other pieces. So it's not the worst idea if you're more of a careful person. But yeah, I think most people in your situation probably try for 22. But then again, most people have more than just these 3 traces. They have like 12 or so of them. So you could say like I'll try to 22 the first one. If it doesn't go, maybe I'll settle for 21 if I get another one. I don't think there's any bad choices there. You just have to, it's personal choice there on what works. 21 is definitely already going to be an upgrade compared to a KT. I don't know if you know the exact stats. I think I have one on my Cannoneer. I can check for you. But the stats are quite high because it's level 200, right? So they give, but there's no flame advantage over it, so it's not as crazy of a bonus double thing. But so I stuck to 21, but that was because it was my Cannoneer, was my side character, and then on the Marksman, I tried to go for 21 as well, but I've boomed 20 to 21 twice there, so that's great. That can definitely happen. And then I had one other. Oh yeah, on my Adele, I think I was going to go for 21 there as well, but I only saw 19 once. Yeah, so it's 135 all and 91 attack.
Okay, that's pretty good. The all stats at least pretty high.
Yeah, the level diff with a 140 ring is just kind of nuts, and I have 21 compared to 21, so for me it's like 30 tech difference. Yeah.
Okay. Well, okay, then I'll probably just go 22 since I can't stand seeing a 21 myself. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, because you have everything else pretty much 22 already, right? So it's it's just the arcanes that aren't all there yet.
Yeah, they're just sitting at 21. I just got them to 21 last shining, so.
Right, now I need to do that last tap. Yeah, that can go all over the place. I had one glove that 19 to 21 cost me 75 bill. So that would be like all your money gone, right? And then but you're already a star. But then when I went 21 to 22 on that character, everything just went first tap and zero fails. So I was done in 4 taps, and it was like, oh, that was the flip side of that luck for that character. So yeah, if you zoom out on a macro, you'll always end up around the average. But every individual event could be horrible or could be amazing. But you very rarely have average events, right? You just have average over the events. So yeah, I know. Did you check on the budgeting for that? Because I think, oh yeah, let's check this one here. 5 to 15, 30% off. Not click this one again. Yeah, it says median cost about 15, average about 21 to get it. But if you only have one, let's say the medium moves of 2, average moves of 2.4, so you probably only spend, probably like I think 8 to 10 or so on the ring, and then it'll probably just be gone by that time.
Okay. I do have a couple backups, so I was thinking maybe just going with the shoulder and cape and leaving the other 2 for now.
Yeah.
So that I don't have to spend as much money as well.
Yeah, buying backups is well. It's also because you're already trying to min max that last star, and it's like there's no real rush there, right? Like the money is gonna start having to be saved up as well for Eternals when they start coming. Are you doing normal Kalos and easy Kaling?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, because I see double of one perfectly over the other, so it looks like a perfect normal Kalos e-Kaling party. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I mean, these are expensive, but there's a lot of weeks in between, and if you're making that much money, you really don't have to start saving for that now and just shining stuff first. Because there's a 5, 10, 15 later, but I think that's still a little too early for you, right? You're not going to have a piece there.
Yeah, it'll be close. That'll be close.
Yeah, I would always go by whatever you have the most backups of first. Personally, I'm so risk averse that even 3 backups at 21... 3 backups at 21 would be like a bare minimum for me. If I only had 2, I probably wouldn't even do it. But, yeah, we make different assessments based on where we're at with different characters as well, right? Like I have a marksman now that has 6 of each, and I'm 21 star, but I'm still not going to 22 it because that character is level 260 or 261. Like I don't know where I'm going to go with that character. I can always do that later if I need to. It could be like you said, it could be like 5 bill spent and I'm done, and it could be 150 bill and I end up with fewer stars than I started. So I don't know if I want to do that one. But if it's your main character, yeah, eventually you want to finish those out, and you're so close to like being full 22, so I bet you feel a little bit of that pressure. But like I just want to get that done, right? Yeah.
Yeah, because I do have a lot of the storms that I can just buy without having to spend Visa. I'm not sure if that would take into account how you use if you want to do risk assessment. Yeah.
Box is gonna last until like tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. You basically have. Was there 4 free backups?
Yeah, 4 free backups, and then the box. So I guess 5.
In the box.
Anywhere I want.
Anywhere you want it, yeah. So that would bring you to like an artificial 6 for every. I mean, the reason I say 6 is not because you'll need 6 for everything, but you'll need 6 for something, probably, right? That's the main problem. And then there's someone in my guild who blew up 23 shoulders before he got it. But yeah, that's super outlier, of course, and we don't want to wish that upon anyone. I mean, even if like, let's say 2 or 3 of the 3 of the items went, and then the 4th one gets annoying, and you have to settle back for a 19 or something, it's still going to be a big upgrade across the board if you gain 322 stars and lose a 20 and a 21 star. Like that wouldn't be as crazy. And then you can also, with every box past then, you can specifically just pick that one backup, right?
Right.
You guys should have to look at if there's any other character you were planning to put into Arcanes that it might cut into their set.
The only other character I was thinking is maybe my Dark Knight. I want to eventually make it a Citanimio, but right now it's just soloing H. Lomian.
Right, so you're okay with not having the pressure on there just yet and going harder on this guy for now.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Yeah, makes sense. Alright. Yeah, then, well, with those, I think with those droplets, it probably changes the picture a little bit. I'm just extremely risk-averse, like 21 to 22. I remember that I did it on 2 characters now, and it was very spooky on one of them, and it was very, very, like I said, very cheap on the other one, but it was expensive to get there, so I don't have good experiences with how bad that could be. But we'll keep it in mind. We'll just look at the number here. Yeah, like a median cost is a bill, but the average is 10 bill. It's actually not too bad because of this. If you just do it during just this, is it really that cheap? Safeguard level 200, 21, 22.
But that assumes you don't really boom that much, right?
1.15 booms. Why was this so different than the... Yeah, the average booms is way lower, of course. Yeah, on 1,000 people? Wait, let's put it on 10,000. Fuck it. A little bit more accurate. Wow, number actually goes down. But yeah, so the unluckiest person here is at 27, so that's like where my guildie is. That's 1 and 2 people had 22 booms. Yeah, I see, like 5 to 6 is like, if you do cumulative boom percentages, like 70, 80, 90% gets it within 4 booms. So with the droplets, yeah, that's pretty. I think that's pretty safe, but that is quite a cost. So I would probably, yeah, this is kind of hard to to budget for.
Yeah.
Because it could be, but yeah, I think you have to budget about 10 bill each just to be on the safe side.
Okay.
Because as soon as one booms, you know, you could be in for it. But there's a good chance that 2 or 3 of them just go, and that only 1 or 2 of them, you know, get the spooky treatment. And then you could always settle back for 21 if it starts getting too expensive, and then be like, you know, we go again in 6 months when the next event comes around. If there's a lot of other projects you want to do, but I think that for this character, that would mostly depend on. Well, it wouldn't be on this character, right? It would mostly depend on if you want to do something for other characters.
Yeah. So I was trying to get my two hyperburns, the Nightwalker and my Shade. Trying to get them 20 Absol so that they can start doing as close to Elu Will and each Lotus as possible.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I love the 20 Absol. It's fast, clean. It's kind of clean. It's clean and dirty, kind of at the same time. But like it gets the job done, and it's much more of a budget solution versus trying to 17 Arcane, and it's probably even stronger than 17 Arcane. But as long as you go past 17 Arcanes, if that's the goal, then I would go straight for Arcanes. But yeah, if you're not even sure that the character is going to be doing that, then 20 Abzo and 20 Superior is really good. I mean, it goes up to like without the weapon, right? I wouldn't do the weapon because I feel like that's a waste. Abzo weapon is just, even at 20 stars, is not good. I would just keep a 17 Abzo weapon and go for a 17 Arcane weapon.
Okay.
That just, yeah, that's going to be like cleaner there, and it makes up for the difference quite a lot. I went for a 20 Abzo weapon. It's just not strong. So for like comparison, a 20 star Abzo weapon with a tier 6 flame is, I think, 6 magic attack more than a tier 6 flame arcane weapon without stars. So yeah, it's kind of stupid to to do that. I mean, I ended up learning from that. You know, I took one for the team, but you know, arcane weapon is just so much stronger, and because the flame gets so much better because of the base attack, and then the attack up to 15 is so much higher as well because of the base. So that's definitely, yeah, I would make that decision there. And you don't need that damage initially. Like keeping a 17-star weapon is okay. That 3 stars, you're not really going to feel that, and then it's significant enough of an increase when you switch to arcane that it's worth the investment there. So you're looking at level 150 stuff to 21. You've got all the fodders ready there, or
yeah, I have like 8 or 9 Ranmaru pieces for each.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, and you know about the shoes and the shoulders and you can maybe get some CZAC capes and all that stuff.
Yeah, I think you can cover everything just with Ranmaru. Right? So
you could, yeah. If you run it enough, yeah. Like in the past, I would always do Ranmaru because it would drop gear for any class, right? So you could get your gear super quickly there. Like you could kill 1 Ranmaru, drop like 9 pieces, and be super easy to fund. But they changed it so that Ranmaru only drops the pieces specifically for your character. So now you barely get drops anymore. So now kind of like, kind of like moved away from that. But you did it with like current Madman Ranmaru? Did you feel like the drop was good enough?
So what I did was, when I made my hyperburns, I also got them each 180 drop rate, so I don't have to worry about that.
Okay, gotcha.
So every run I get at least 2 pieces.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, because the other resources go through coins that are typically like a flat drop rate. They're not really affected. So then you can buy them with the coins, but you probably need more days for that to pick up. But it's like a cheaper option, I guess, if you know for sure that you're gonna go the harder bosses. Because for you, they're mostly going to be like Blackheart mules, right?
Yeah, that's the goal.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, that makes sense that you go for drop rate then. Because I'd say for most people, like if you're not planning to make a bunch of black hearts on the characters, then don't go for drop rate at all. You can just kind of skip that step. You can still fund it, right, without that by doing the slightly more budget option, like I said. But if you know for sure you're gonna use drop rate eventually because you're gonna go for special skill rings, drops. Valuable drops like the black heart, then you'd want to get the drop rate as fast as possible because then you'll just cash in earlier, and then you can do more like Ranmaru funding because you'll just get that drop rate unlocked. That makes sense. This should not be too crazy. This looks like 4.5 bill per a piece. Would you be doing just the?
So I was thinking about
the
the
episodes
CRA.
also. Yeah.
Yeah, CRA's to 20 or 21, and also some superior gear, if I have to.
Yeah, well, CRA is also 150 to 21, so that's also the same number. So that's so I would look at about 4.5 bill a pop there. So if we're saying 10 bill a pop for your arcanes, then you're still left with 50, right? So you'd be able to do like 10 to 11 of these items. So if you do the Abzos on 2 characters, that's 8. So that could either eat up your money, or you could have money for like another up to 3 to 4, if you're lucky. So then, so CRA to 21 as well on top of that might be tricky. But you definitely want to do the highest level items first, right? You would definitely want to do arcanes on the main first.
Right.
Unless you feel like you're getting too low on backups there, and you just kind of want to like ditch before it gets too crazy. But it's still best to do the highest level items during Shining and focus that, because you'll make the most savings.
Yeah, my plan was to focus on the main, and then my 2 hyperburns. Everything else already has pretty much 21 CRA, 20 superior. So I don't need any more funding on those for now. Yeah, my 2 hyperburns already have all the backups ready, so I was thinking if I can spend money on it, I should try and go for 20 episode with 21 CRAs.
Yeah, so you probably won't have enough to like finish the 22s on arcanes and do all the CRAs and the Abzo prep into 20. That's probably gonna be too much, because that's 7 items a pop at 4.5, so that's 30 bill a character, so that's 60. That's like roughly 30 bill a character. So if you get a little bit more money, if you get your arcanes done a little bit under budget, then, because again, the averages is hard to say, right? I think mathematically, you should have about enough for all the 22 arcanes, all the 21 CRA for the 2 characters, and all the 20 Absos on all 2 characters. But yeah, you only need to get unlucky on like 1 arcane, and the whole plan is down. Or you get lucky on your arcanes, and you actually end up with like 20 bill left. And then you can even, go for potentials or something. Or maybe if you have some, pink bean belts, maybe some reinforced earrings, some stuff like that, you can pre-prep those in Star Force, so that when you get the superior drop there, you can immediately transfer hammer over that, right?
Yeah.
Maybe some kind of treasure rings, maybe craft some Meister rings, that kind of stuff. Because those are level 140 items, right? So those are actually even cheaper than this.
Right, I already have everyone prepped with Meister, so if I need to dip into the currency for that, then I can do that too.
Oh, this man's prepared, chat. Yeah, whenever you get, have you gotten unlucky with kind of treasure rings before? You've like learned from the past, or?
I would say I'm pretty lucky in general, actually, on the jobs.
Okay, that's good. So it's gonna turn someday. So you're preparing for when the rain comes.
Or if I just want to boost the damage, right? I can always just create Meister rings.
Yeah.
Maybe move up a boss tier.
Yeah, you're just not gated by RNG as much, right? That's the nice thing about all the extra primals and all the extra resources we get now, is that you can kind of brute force through. If you get impatient, or you're like, okay, well, I want to make an upgrade. I have like 50 primals. Let me just make some rings and send something. Yeah.
Yeah, I have so many primals just from soloing all these bosses. I have like maybe 100 total. It's pretty insane now that they give it from the C10 bosses.
Okay, makes sense.
So just to summarize the funding part, I can try and throw as much money as onto my main, assuming that my arcanes don't just boom and after we start at 17, then I can move into my hyperburns, then prep for 20 Absos, and if I can, try and go CRA too.
Yeah, there's one more 5, 10, 15 after as well, right?
Yeah.
That makes sense. 2 or 3 weeks after?
A lot easier. I think the 29th or the end of the month. Right?
End of the month. Oh, yes. I think it was the last one in... I think you're right. I think the last one in January.
Yeah, the 26th.
26th, yeah. Yeah, so I mean, even so, if you take 2 weeks to make money back for the weapon, and then you have another 2 weeks, you'll have again like 40 to 50 bill probably here. So that it's not as much cheaper, but if it's on a lower level items, on some 140s to prep for the superiors, maybe, right? For those characters, or maybe finish off 1 or 2 CRA pieces that didn't go. You'll have more backups in the meantime as well, so you can just send.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
Okay.
So to finish off the boss mules, I guess I was thinking about in long term, right? When in the summer when we get 2 more the hyper max burns or something like that.
Yes.
What other boss mules I should consider? I was thinking, like I said, there Buccaneer, Marksman, Dawnware, or AB, or any other bosses. Maybe you would recommend. I'm looking for something that's low input but high damage, and also simple in terms of mechanics.
Okay, and it looks like this list, and up to like the same as here, like Hard Lotus, maybe C10 Mule with like a small party kind of thing. Yeah, okay.
Yes.
So you could maybe join like Pugs if you wanted to, just to get a chance for rings, but mostly focus on Hard Lotus, Hard Damien, and maybe do normal Tenebris if you want the extra money, something like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I have Buck and Marksman myself. Marksman is quite an acquired taste. Marksman is a little bit more pricey on the inner ability, trying to get the inner ability right? Because you need that attack speed +1, otherwise you're just a sitting duck, essentially. You're just really, really slow, and benefits quite a bit from the crit rate inner ability as well. So that usually for boss moves, that's the thing I'm looking at, because everything else you can kind of like brute force. You can just, you can throw a lot of nodes, you can throw a lot of money, a little bit of time with preparation with gear, and you can get a character done pretty quickly. But I feel like Honor EXP, you can use event Honor EXP now to a larger extent, so it is fading out a little bit, but you can easily get unlucky on an inner ability and drop like 6 mil during a 50% off event and still just not hit. So I always try to emphasize like inner ability reliance a bit more. I've heard really good things about Angelic Buster as a boss mule, it being way more straightforward and easy to confirm your damage now. And Dawn Warrior, like, people universally like Dawn Warrior for its simplicity. I think, from what I heard, it's a little trickier like later on, but I think up until Hard Lotus and C10, it probably does just fine. I like the Buck personally. Even was able to do my like Hard Will Liberation first try without much trouble, just because of the, you can like zoom across the map and like reposition very well with your Lord of the Deep. So I like the Buck quite a bit, but
for the Buck, would you say learning how to hyper jump or whatever the super jump is necessary to boss on that class?
I almost never use it when bossing because it's like too erratic. If you dodge one thing, you'll just jump into another thing because you move like beyond the screen, right? So you can't even see what you're moving towards. And most boss maps aren't even that big around that level. Super jumping is very nice for mobbing, but you can easily set up super jumping like with your keyboard settings to just do it 100% of the time. So for bossing, I barely ever use it. You use more like the small corrections, like the zoom, and then you tap the down arrow, and it immediately stops your momentum, and you stop exactly in the place where you tap the arrow key, so you can zoom across the map and really specifically position yourself. And then on top of that, you have the regular rush skill and the dash skill and the teleport skill in lightning form across the map if you really want to go very far. So you have plenty of options for movement there. But it is straightforward enough because you don't have to be dashing and attacking, because the attacking happens automatically. So I like the Buck for that position. The Marksman I have had overfunded. I don't know if I would have the Marksman as a bosser right now. I don't know if I would have picked one if I hadn't already had previously invested a lot into it. I think I probably would have picked a Wind Archer over a Marksman. I hear a lot of good things about Wind Archer boss mules.
Okay, I see.
I
already have a Marksman semi-prepped with 17 episodes and like some counter rings, but I'm not sure if... And it already has like level 20 boost nodes, so I don't know if I want to keep that as a normal Lomian for now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not bossing on it right now because it does feel kind of clunky, like you said, without the +1 attack speed.
Yeah.
So I'm not even running it since it feels so bad.
Mm-hmm.
Is it a possibility, something that I would job change to a Bowmaster in that case?
You could do that too. Yeah. Is your regular Bowmaster is way lower level?
Yeah, it's just sitting at 200.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, that's something that you could try. They're not as reliant, of course. Their lifesteal isn't as brain dead anymore, but I know that a lot of people like the Bowmaster for Boss Mule as well for its simplicity. I mean, you've got quite a few buffs, but then once they're rolling, you just hold down your key and then you're good. The one good thing I would say about the Marksman is that your burst, you don't need the boss to be bound really to confirm your burst, because you could just shoot your cartridges from like a distance, right? So that means that you don't have to like level up your bind because the initial cooldown is longer, which is nice. You know, that means that you don't have to use as many nodes there. And there's not that pressure of like I have to do things perfectly. You can play from far away, you can play from close, you have your teleport. I'm not saying Marksman is like a bad one, but it will put a bit more pressure on playing the boss as well, where I think with something like a Wind Archer, you know, you put your big shield on and nothing can really get to you. But yeah, I don't think like Marksman is bad, but were you planning on like adding all of those on as like your next set? So you're trying to get to like crystal capping, or?
So I'm trying to add. I'm not trying to crystal cap, but I'm just trying to slowly move boss mules in when hyperburns come around.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Specifically for the 1+4s.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's yeah. Switching it to a Bowmaster would be definitely an option if you want to capitalize on those investments you've already made. Yeah, you'd have to redo the Matrix, I guess, right? Which is not.
I do have a lot of nodes just sitting there though. It's not.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But we get a lot more now from events, right? Events actually give nodes now, which is nice. There were a lot of events where it's like, oh, we have one event shop, but you could buy like 30 nodes. Like, wow, amazing. Thank you.
Yeah.
Use all the currency to get 30 nodes. And now it's like, oh, here, you have a stack of 100, have a stack of 200. It's like, okay, thank you.
Yeah, and that's on top of the hyperburn that already gives you
500
nodes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And all the EXP nodes, not to forget, of course. That makes...
Right.
I have a Mission Impossible Spider-Man. Oh, he's in my keyboard now. Oh, he's in my water now. He's going for a swim. Yeah, so I think a lot of those are good picks. I would definitely look in that direction. Is there anything more like specifically about these characters we're looking for feedback on? Like a lot of it will come down to like if you want to do those harder bosses, you just want to have bosses that hit harder. Like the 3-minute bursters will just benefit way more from skill rings, and then will hit really hard, and then they might be able to DPM out of the weaker bosses. Whereas if you have a 2-minute class, you know, you'll be looking for multiple rings, and even with a ring, your burst isn't going to be as insanely high as you want it to be, but they will be able to burst through the slightly weaker bosses faster because you'll have your bursts up more, right? So I think Buck is a solid choice. Something similar to Buck would be something like a Dark Knight, right? Which you already have, where they both have like pretty heavy 3-minute DPS, but they also have DPM because of the shorter cooldown skills, or in the case of the Buccaneer with the Lord of the Deep. So they kind of can be a hybrid in both of that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So and Dawn Warrior is simpler, but because it's so heavily 3-minute focused, if you want to do that thing, you'd have to basically not use all your bursts at the same time and kind of like stagger your burst to make that work. So all of them have kind of like workarounds to fit those slots, I would say.
Okay. Yeah, like I said, I was just looking for something simple, something that's low mechanic and can play pretty safe if I need to.
Yeah, I mean, you have all the characters, right? I would definitely try a little bit of CRA, try a little bit of like those bosses like around that level, and just get a little bit of a feel for how the character plays, and then just pick the ones that have because it seems like you already have a pretty good Legion and you have all the characters, right? So you have a lot to pick from. So I would just play around with them a little bit, give them like a little bit of funding, give them a little bit of taste, and then just see if it's your playstyle or not. And if it's not, then you just ditch them, and if it is, then you push those forward, right? Ultimately, it's gonna be you're gonna want to have to log into them and want to do the thing, right? And if you have even a little bit of doubt, just move on to the next one. I would say definitely add Wind Archer to that, maybe Bowmaster to that list, and give those a try.
Okay.
Thinking of which ones I have. I have I have Mihail. I think Mihail is also, but you
Yeah, I
already
have
have
it
yours
there.
261, right? Yeah. So, kind of Paladin Network Machine. Which ones do I have? Kane is a bit more. I like my Cannoneer. I don't know if, but it is. It's a bit of a setup, and you have to work around with the cannons.
I'm not a big. So Cannoneer is a summon class, also, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, sure, yeah. I mean, even our biggest damaging skill, like the cannon, is also a summon, but it does its damage way faster now, thank God. But
Because I don't really like summon classes. Even the kind I have right now is barely a summon class, but it's
yeah,
just so much setup, and you have to position your summons.
yeah.
I don't really find that enjoyable.
No, I got that. I got that. That makes sense. Yeah, I guess I would consider those and do it that way. Does that answer the question for those?
Yes, it does. Yes.
Okay, cool. So plan for main in general looks good. That looks solid. And when you say 3-line, you mean like perfectly 3-lining, right? Like 33%
Yes. So
on
at
a
least
160.
30 or 33.
Yeah. Okay, gotcha. Good. And then after that, you have like, or after that, I guess for emblem you don't want to push, but do you have any aspirations for the secondary? Because I don't know how like it's double prime.
I do have a side secondary. I'm just tapping every
Gotcha.
now and then
Okay.
against solid cubes. But
Right.
right
Yeah.
now it's too expensive to just throw all my miso at for 3-line,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. I got you. Yeah. Yeah. If you had like 150 bill right now, then we'd be making some different choices than that. Right, because I'm not even sure if it's full 3-line attack, how much of an increase it would really be. You'd probably want to dump that money into the liberated weapon first and see where that happens. Because if that one ends up with like a 40 boss and 23 attack or something like that, you'd want to be able to keep that, and then you'd definitely want to go full attack on the secondary, right? Because you want to build around that double prime.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, you'll most likely in the beginning end up with a boss line on at least one boss line on the liberated weapon, but that's totally fine. That just means all the more incentive to go attack on the secondary, and
Right.
all the dropper gear is really high. That's all the old damage gear, right? Because it's an older character, so you had like older damage gear that you could move into becoming dropper gear.
I do also have another set of drop rate gear I could. Well, a lot of 3 sets of accessories at the very bottom that I can move into my mobbing set if I really want to.
Yes, ultra transpose. Yeah, gotcha.
So if I eventually want to farm in car scene, I probably want to move maybe 2 or 3 of those are all into my mobbing set, right?
Yeah, I would just like try and see how you are with damage. I mean, especially with how you can alternate G skills, you can do stuff like that, right? When you're training, that stuff might be just like the free damage that you need already to be able to clear properly. And like, of course, Solyanis has opened up a lot of capabilities for grinding and still clearing the map without needing an awful lot of damage. Especially if you're like 22 arcanes, I feel like your base level of damage is already really good. Unless you're trying to go for, I think the main reason why people would need to do that is if they go for auto steel gloves, because then you lose a lot of damage on that critical damage there, and on the stars a little bit. So then you probably will want to move these guys in. But like personally, I don't do that, so I think you'll probably be fine with the current gear. But it's good to have this as backup for sure. I mean, the Daybreak Pendant eventually you want to use as your second pendant, right? But you'll have to wait for the other pieces, yeah. And then it's at that point just recubing, as expensive as that it was, like, you know, a few months ago, that's going to be like an afterthought, like, oh, I'll just make this double prime here and then make this 30% here, and that's just like a thing you kind of do on a regular Tuesday, right?
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, but a Sweetwater Pendant could be, because that's about the same, right? Oh, it's a bit stronger, yeah, because of the main stat, yeah. Well, I guess the flame isn't really done on this one, but yeah, the
The flame on
with
the
the transpose in.
So yeah, it's sitting at 22, but just because I have a 23 source.
Yeah.
And I tapped both during Shining earlier December, and I got both to 22 at the same time. So I was already happy with the Daybreak, and then I got a 22 source. It's like, okay, well, this is just gonna sit on the side now.
Nice. Oh yeah, you were doing the Daybreak first to replace the Sweetwater.
Sweetwater.
Yeah, because of the set bonus, and then the Source one as well. You're like, oh, now the Daybreak is unemployed.
Right, right.
I think I did the same thing. Yeah, I did. I had mine, and then like a few weeks later, there was another event, and then I replaced it again immediately, and now it's just sitting in my inventory. You know, for that big day to come.
Yep.
It's c'est la vie. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think you will need them because you have. I mean, yeah, you have the rings as probably where you lose the most damage, right?
Yeah.
And the one pendant.
Because right now, when I
Yeah.
farm in top deck 6, I can my Soyanis can one shot, but I need guild skills for that.
Okay. Yeah.
So if I move into Carcian, then I for sure need to use probably like 1 or 2 guild skills and move 1 or 2 accessories into my big setup.
Yeah. I guess I mean a Sweetwater pendant will definitely beat the Mechanator by a lot. That'll be a big damage increase, and then the Meister ring and the Sweetwater would give you a lot of extra damage. Like the Ifia ring and the Mechanator, they definitely get so much attack. Was it like 120 extra attack or something?
Yeah.
Oh, more than that. Yeah, it's 160, so like 155 or so extra weapon attack. Like 300 stat. Yeah, that would be quite a bit. That's something to consider for sure. Yeah, I would always try it first because a lot of it is also hexa scaling now, right? Just if your hexa keeps growing, it will also get your baseline up. And you're both you did both of your stats, hexa stats. Those are done.
Yeah, there should be in there somewhere. I got a slightly above average.
Yeah, no, that's
not too
no.
crazy.
Yeah, 2 7s. That's really good. Yeah, my first 2 were 7s, and then my second 2 were both 4s. So you know, I got humbled. Oh, and Solianus is almost 20. Yeah, that'll help a lot as well because then you don't need to one shot with that anymore, right? You can hit multiple times, cover a lot of the map.
So besides the bonus EXP, what else do you get from Solianus 20?
Well, from Dusk you get nothing until 30. It hits one more, but from Dawn you get another summon, so you get 3 summons.
Okay. So that will make things easier for sure.
Yeah.
On the bigger maps, at least.
They're technically like a little smaller because there's more of them, but it's negligible, and because there's 3 of them, you're still covering so much of the map. And then you put your fountain somewhere. You're the fountain, yeah, and then you have alternating between all your other AoEs, and you can do some rising raging and everything. Yeah, every map is basically completely covered at that point.
Yeah. So for the Hexa, I wanted to get Soyanis 20, but also didn't want to exactly follow the leveling order that the hero guide has. So I was trying to get maybe 20 on my origin just for the bigger burst. Right after my 20 Soyanis. Is that like a reasonable sidestep away from the recommended path?
Yeah, so going from recommended path to origin is typically what you do when you for sure have like a Roar 4, right, to capitalize on that stuff, which I think you do, right?
Yeah, I do.
And mainly if you're trying to get into the higher tier for the bosses that are just way more bursty. So specifically if you're trying to go from normal Kalos to Sea Kalos, if you're trying to make that progression essentially. All the other bosses, of course, will always benefit, but they'll on average benefit more if you just follow the DPM line. But it's more if you need like those bursty chunks during the burst heavy bosses. So maybe, maybe culling for like P2 or something, right? If your party needs to get out of there, you want to do more damage there, it'll also be good. So moving from easy to normal culling with your party. Excuse me, I got it.
Okay, yeah. So right now we're running. So right now we're running easy culling, and I think within the next couple of weeks we might consider moving into normal because we already blow up easy within like 6-7 minutes. So
it's a good. Yeah, you can at least try. Yeah, I don't think it's a bad idea because the other ones are really, really high, right? And as far as I remember, the bonus damage from the instinctual combo and the God, what's that sword again?
Burning Soulblade.
Burning Soulblade, yeah. Those up to 10 are pretty good, but then they already drop off a little bit, right? because
Yeah,
it just
the
gets
cost to
gets expensive. I think what most people do is they get their masteries like 29 and then the origin 20 and then they kind of like go back on the following path. I think that's probably reasonable to do, right?
yeah, it's still really cheap to get those boost the HEXA rising raging blow. Yeah.
Yeah, the masteries are just cheaper, right, across the board. So I imagine what is the general order for hero? Do they say those to 29 and then the skill nodes to what, like to 10 to 15 or something, and then go into the origin, or?
Well, I think right now they want me to get Sword Illusion up to 5, and then Instinctual Combo Burning Soul Blade to 9, and then move 29s in my
Okay,
boost
yeah,
nodes.
those first. Okay, yeah, and then more origin.
Yeah, the Origin will be after the 29s.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so I don't know if the difference will be that huge. But if it is like a specific burst thing and not a overall damage DPM thing and your party is more than good for it, then I see no problem with just going for the origin first and getting that to 20 at least. Were you thinking getting it all the way to 30, or were you getting it thinking 20 something and then...
I was thinking of parking at 20 just for that bonus boss damage, and then working on everything else after that, and then
Yeah, I think
eventually
that's
around.
fine. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. If you're already doing those bosses, then I would just follow the DPM. But since, you want to make sure that you hit those benchmarks to be able to do the nukier parts. So I think, it's mainly for Kaling P2 and then for just Kalos segments if you want to go for C Kalos. And of course, it'll help with everything. But I think it makes mostly for those try to get to the next step so you can actually speed up that eternal piece gathering a little bit, right? Because
Right.
the one piece every 20 weeks for Kaling, as good as it is compared to pitches, it still feels bad to just wait so long to to get an attempt. Well, you'll have plenty of mules to spend money on in the meantime, but still, you wanna keep feeling like at least you're getting some chances there. Yeah, so I think that's fine.
Okay, sounds good.
So if we go up to the top, money spent. Oh yeah, and then I guess the familiar thing, right?
Yeah. So when I hit 285, I think it's worth spending some time getting at least one boss fam, because I already have kind of one boss fam combined in 2 different familiars.
Got the attack,
Maybe
right?
at least getting one more. Yeah. So
Yeah.
one boss damage fam should be very helpful. But also, if I want to push 285 just for 1 or 2 levels, and then go back and do familiars, I'm not sure if there's a priority for me.
I don't know if there's enough going on in Korea and with Talahart and everything to really want to push 290 too quickly. I personally took a lot of the foot off the gas pedal as well once I reached 285, and then started going a little bit more in width, a little bit more horizontally with my account rather than going vertically with the main character. And I think that's reasonable. I mean, you're still progressing if you're going for familiars. At least you're trying to. RIP all the people opening all their unique familiars and getting nothing for it. But I mean, yeah, you can only do so much true damage with your 240% IED, so it makes total sense that bossing at that point will be good. And also your matrix is also at the point where it is, fine to not 100% focus on the levels there. The extra damage you get from levels is very minor. And you're still progressing the matrix by going for familiars, because we can double dip now, right? So I think it's totally reasonable thing to do. I would just set like an amount or set a time or like a percentage in the level or whatever to give yourself until that, and then if you don't hit, you just move on again, I guess. Or you keep going until you feel like there's enough for you at higher levels. I mean, because you gain a little bit of FD, if you go to 286, 287, you gain a little bit of FD on bosses like Extreme Lotus and normal Kaling and Sea Kalos as well, right? And if you want to get into Limbo at that point, like a little bit of levels there is nice, but yeah, a boss familiar will add way more damage than like one little level will at that point for sure.
Okay.
So I think that's a good plan.
Yeah, I only asked because, like you said, the bosses like Extreme Black Lotus, those bosses, the 1 or 2 levels could help me join the final party and then start working towards another pitched item, right?
Yeah, I don't know if that level really matters. People will just be looking at your combat power at that point. As long as you're like close to 285 or at 285, people are just looking for, do you have experience with the boss and do you have the combat power? And a boss fan will inflate your combat power way more than a level will. And
Okay.
they'll look at your Hexa, and your Hexa is looking very solid, and by then will definitely also be more than adequate. So I don't think you should have any problems with that. Yeah, the boss fan will just past 285. The boss fan will help a lot more. Again, unless you have like aspirations of Extreme Seren, normal Limbo really early on already, or you want to get to like soloing Extreme Lotus and everything, then just levels. Makes sense, and then you can always, if you want to, you can always boss farm a familiar farm on another character, and then just transfer the familiars over, right? If you play enough for that.
Yeah, makes sense.
That's always something you could do, yeah.
Because right now I'm just trying to maximize damage at my current boss tier, like H Saren and Black Mage, and also and Kalos and E-Calling.
Yeah.
So the levels won't do anything for me there at this point.
No, but the very next step, and even for the very next step, they will do very little. I think 285 is a good level at this point until I don't know if the new boss that's coming out is going to be 290. I'm expecting it. So if you want to stay like on schedule, then it's a good idea to just keep leveling. But if you're okay with falling behind a little bit there, because it's tough, right? Like they just put the bosses 5 levels higher. They kept Limbo at the same level, which is reasonable. But like every 5 levels is going to take way longer than the last 5 levels. So it is also fine, based on restrictions, personal life, time spent, all of that you're just not going to be able to keep up with always doing the content as it comes out. Maybe that's what you did before, and that's why you stopped playing, something like that. I don't know, to make some assumptions. But it's very easy for people to burn out by not being able to set the pace for themselves, right? So that's why I look at the KMS stuff not so much as like, oh, what am I going to miss out on? But just like, is this, enough for me to feel like I need to be pushing? And if it's not, then I feel very comfortable just staying where I'm at and then slowly progressing and just developing my account rather than feeling like I need to really push vertically, right?
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it's even one more boss time would probably round it out pretty nicely. But yeah, ideally you'd want two, right? If you get 2 boss fights and 1 attack, like that'd be really, really nice. So yeah, I would set like a number or have something in your head, or until you feel like, okay, there is more value for me past 285, I'm going to focus on training again. And if there's another character you really like and you want to train that, but you don't really care about the familiars there as much, you could also feed from another character. That could be a backup option.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have any plans on farming on a mule quite yet. I just want to get my hero as high on the Hexa before I consider doing that.
Yeah, I see a lot of characters like stuck right at 260, so I had that idea, I had that thought as well.
Yeah.
You don't have like a 268 or a 272 or something there, right? So aside from me having like another 285 here to the left, my account is pretty much exactly the same. It's like a few I think there's one 263 there, but yeah, other than that, it's pretty much the same. So I totally understand that stance for sure.
Yeah, right now I am leveling my Dark Knight slowly through the EXP vouchers and doing the 7 monster perk runs, just so that I can move into C10 and eventually Black Mage parties.
Yeah, good. And the Tenebris dailies, you doing those?
Yeah.
You got the daily planner is nice for that, huh? You could just click, just go everywhere,
Right.
Start it all, claim it all. That's a huge time saver. I like that feature a lot.
Yeah, and it's also getting the Cernium dailies because my hero already maxed the Cernium symbol, so I can throw C10 and Cernium at it.
Yeah, it's a little bit bait from the game, of course, because they put a lot of symbols in shops and they give us a lot of selectors, and you're like, well, I'm pretty much going to be done with these symbols, so that's going to be a waste. So I should level up another character so I can get value from these things. And it's like, that's how they get you, right? That's how they they make you just keep rolling into the next one. So I put my foot down, but now I'm at like my highest level characters, I think 60% or something for the very last symbol. And I'm like, damn, what am I going to do with the selectors? But I guess I'll just start throwing them into 260s just to level up their Cernium, I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
What else am I supposed to do? Maybe get one character to 265 soon. But I think leveling past 260 is going to be much more favorable in the future. And I think they saw that a lot of people have like an account like this. I think with the hero, Legion hero thing, right? Which coming next month in Korea, I think. That extra value there will probably make us want to get some extra characters like into the 270 to 275 range. But I was expecting for this winter for the EXP curve past like 265 or something to be, you know, maybe 265 to 280 or something like that, or to 275 at least, to have that curve down a little bit to also facilitate a transition for people to get their, you know, very stuck boss mules out of that and move them more into like early late game stuff.
Is the EXP curve reduction confirmed, or is it just
No, I was expecting one just because of, you know, the path of, or I guess the regular time drop that we have gotten them, plus the fact that the game seems to want to push us in that direction as well. I was expecting it totally, but it has not been confirmed at all. No, there was no news on it. Maybe the next summer update for Korea, I guess, and then, but then it'll be winter for us. It'll basically be a year from now, right? That's what we're thinking, what we're looking at. But yeah, it's got some like, you need to solo normal Kalos and stuff. You know, doing that on 6 characters that's quite a quite an effort. So you know,
big ask, but you do get a lot of damage from just doing the champion burning on each character, right?
Mm-hmm. But yeah, and your Legion levels probably you notice as well. They just keep going up, right, with all the free stuff we're getting.
Right. Every hyper burn, you just add 40 to your 40 to your Legion level.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, I think that the 1+4 is way cleaner, right? Because a lot of people leave characters at like 215, 220, 225. So for all of those characters, it'll be a clean level up from there to 260 as well. Plus you can start burning right at level 10 or at 200, right? And you don't have like the residue levels, so it actually makes a lot more sense, I think, than the 1+2. But also it's insanely high, so it makes sense that they waited a while to release that. Okay, Legion Artifact is in here. You're moving on to, what is this, EXP and Mezzo. Yeah, those are the ones you kind of want in the beginning, but everything else is so much more damage. So
yeah,
you have to wait a while until you can do that, yeah.
I was thinking if I wanted to swap out for level 10s on those, but it doesn't really matter. It's just a small amount of percent. It doesn't change anything.
Yeah, you have plenty of artifact points, so you could min-max on it if you wanted to. If you're going to be doing like long grinding sessions, you could swap out like the IED and the boss damage for extra Mezzo and EXP, right? And then after, when you want a boss, you can switch it back. It's not that expensive. It'll cost you like a few K, but you make those points back passively anyway. So that's the thing that you could do if you want to min-max on that. Is the...
I don't really want to min-max on that. It's just too much to think about.
Yeah, the checklist we need these days to, like, I want to go into a boss. Okay, here's the 15 items you need to think about buying first before you go. Otherwise, you're griefing damage. It's like, oh.
Yeah. I'm okay sitting at the 95 percentile or 90 percentile if I need to.
Yeah.
Yeah, what the near 100%.
Makes sense. Did we kind of cover this as well? Mobbing gear, we're spending Mezzo towards... Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. So, we talked about that, right? Yeah, if you need it. But the Liberation Weapon will add a lot of damage, right? The extra 10% FD and the potential plus the flame and everything.
So, yeah, that should help a lot.
Yeah, should check after that. Stella Earrings. I have not used the Stella on any character. If you already have 21 reinforced, I wouldn't consider it. But if you were right now using like 17-star reinforced, you have no outlook on CFEs whatsoever, and you just have your current superiors, then I think a Stella Earrings, if you need the damage for grinding, is definitely the way to go.
Okay, because I'm already sitting at 21 reinforced, so I don't see a reason to swap unless I am desperate for the damage, right? Yeah,
that'd be desperation thing. That'd be like a very, very diagonal upgrade, in my opinion, yeah. You'd have to spend quite a bit of money there. I mean, you can get the backups over a long time, but you have to spend quite a bit of money for like a small increase. Definitely be doing this way first, right? Like getting that Meister Ring and the pendant in there. That'd be a way bigger upgrade, and you already have all of the investment done there. You just need to finish off the potential. So,
right.
I never checked it.
a lot of
percentages here.
reinforced end period.
I never looked at these numbers, but you have like
Oh,
55,000% on normal Lotus.
I wish I could kill that many. The income would be insane, right?
Imagine the money, yeah, damn. Killing like 550 crystals. Billions. What is that, like 100 bill a week?
Yeah,
Sorry.
if they treat it like a covert, it just keeps on respawning.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Boss crystal.
You just have a half hour time limit. You can just kill as many as you want within the half hour. You just keep like nuking. You do like one origin, kill like 12 of them.
Mm-hmm. At that point, everyone would be going for 24-star gear or something like that.
24-star Abzo, if you do like hard Lotus, because you have so many backups.
Yeah,
I was thinking about that actually. With the
like sorry to cut you off, but it's like when you kill hard Damien, he drops the box, you have to open it during the boss fight, just because your use tab keeps on getting filled up with boxes.
Yeah, there would be like a private server thing where it is just the whole map is just riddled with drops. You just loot over them, you open everything, yeah, and then everything is like worthless. Manual loot, oh god, manual loot, all that, yeah.
And
that would
shared
be a time factor.
party.
Okay, one person loots 50 boxes first. Now someone else, yeah.
Yep.
And then HEXA forecasting went, yeah, okay. We considered that as well, right?
Yeah.
With the origin and everything. You got the I still don't have a cont on my hero. Do you find yourself using it?
I haven't given myself the time to learn how to use the cont ring yet, so it's just been sitting in the back burner. I've only been using it during Culverts, and Culvert and the book. The
Punch King things, yeah. Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, it's very useful now with the new buff UI, right? So you can put it a little bit lower or whatever you want it, so you can always see when the ring is active and when it's not. And you just basically force all your damage when you know the ring is about to activate, and then you maybe use a little bit more of the mobility, or if you need to do any rebuffing or anything like that, you always try to do that right when the ring starts to go down. But you always want to, like, if the origin is very long, so you might want to start hitting it like right before the ring activates, so that most of the ring hits within the ring, right? Most of the origin, I mean, hits within the ring. If you do end up origining with it.
Okay.
But if it's already halfway and then you press your origin, then you know half the origin is going to hit outside of the ring, and that's going to be a little bit rough. So, or like with Sword Illusion, if you already see the buff blinking, you don't want to throw out your Sword Illusion. It's probably better to wait like 4 seconds, right? Because 4 to 8, and then throw it out, and then you know the whole thing is going to hit on top of the boss. So if you want to min-max with it, it's going to be a little bit extra difficulty because, you know, you have a teleporting boss and Sword Illusion that doesn't deal damage instantly, so potentially it might still be better to just hit rather than, right? Because then on average you're gonna be doing more hits, but ideally you wanna look for that overlap as much as you can.
Yeah, I didn't want to learn it mostly because I didn't want to worry about having to time certain buffs and worry about the mini burst with the Sword Illusion. It seems so much easier to just have the Roar Force sitting there on a 3-minute cooldown.
Yeah. And you'd have to look at the content that you're doing if you even need it, right? If it would even... Because sometimes just wearing the Roar and not using it, and the bosses still die in about the same amount of time. You just burst whenever you have the Roar up. You do the Roar burst, and then you just don't do any burst out anyway. Maybe if you get the weapon jump, like swapping would even still be worth more than using the cont, right?
Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah, I haven't gotten a weapon jump yet, so I can't think about that yet. But right now, with the Roar, I can pretty much kill every Cetina boss within a Roar cooldown, and then two Roars, and then I can move on to the next one with the Origin ready. So I can clear pretty much all of Cetania and Lubel within one set of guild skills already. So I don't have to worry about doing cont ring, I don't think.
No, it's just good to have in case something changes in the future, or... Yeah, Con 5 is also a bit stronger, but of course, yeah, Roar 5 will be insanely good, and then... Once you get a weapon jump, don't be depressed by how much worse it is than the Roar burst. It's quite a lot worse, but it's better than no Roar, you know, and then you can swap for solo. But yeah, if you're in a party, you're most likely going to be playing 3-minute anyway, right, to sync with the team, and then just play on Roar every time. And it's not ideal, but it just means you just have to get the DPM in a little bit more.
Okay. So if for talking about level 5 rings, you prioritize the conch or the roar, or I guess weapon jump would be the third one, right?
Yeah, there's some people probably do roar first, then conch, then weapon jump. I think, because the bosses where you need to damage the most will be. I imagine in Limbo the conch might be really good because I don't know if you have the opportunity there to ring swap very much. There's like the phase transition, but it's like just not long enough, and you miss quite some damage there. Plus, who's gonna have a weapon jump 5 and have that many grindstones, right? So you're losing a lot on that second burst versus just having a conch up the whole time and getting that 140, 160% boss damage, I think, on all the time. Especially if you're full attack on your WSE, then that extra boss damage actually comes in quite nicely, even with the FAMs. But typically the roar, especially if you're playing party composition right on 3 minute, on doing talking about C Kalos, Extreme BM, maybe Extreme Saren, like normal Limbo, like all of those. If you're playing with your team on 3 minute, then the roar is by far going to just give you the best reward. There is some pushback and stuff in Korea now, because a lot of them have moved into using the conch 5 instead. A lot of that is because I'm pretty sure you can trade the grindstone so they can just brute force themselves to a 5 more easily. Plus they got the bad ring swap now, from what I heard, that we used to have with combat and everything. So it's actually really, really annoying for them to swap rings. So a lot of people have just decided to just go for the conch 5 and then just with their single digit crazy hand skill ping, just min-max on the ring, and it just makes more sense for them to do that.
Okay, that makes sense then.
Yeah, I think for us, because we have the good swap, but it is very much like a solo versus party thing at this point. If you can find full 2 minute party, I don't know what your Kalos setup is. A full 2 minute party can actually do really well in Kalos as well, and just 2 burst the segments on 2 minute makes the boss bound more often, right? So that actually helps you control the fight quite a bit as well, if that's something you want to look for. And if you're doing that specifically, then you probably want to look for ring swapping.
See, our party's kind of split between 2 and 3 minutes, so
yeah, it's pretty normal.
It's kind of burst. Yeah, we kind of burst whenever we have a segment coming up.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, that's usually the standard. You can't be that picky where you're like, okay, all the 2 minutes line up, go into one group, and then the 3 minute. You kind of just have to go with who you get at that time, and then I don't know if it's loyalty or whatever, or laziness to some extent, but you're really gonna min-max the exact party composition for the If you get people and it works, right?
Yeah. I imagine for the harder bosses, that's something you think about more, but when everyone is already way past the damage requirement, then it doesn't really matter.
It doesn't really matter, no. Yeah. Unless you have a bunch of weeks where you fail multiple times, then that sets in a lot of annoyance in people, and I think that's understandable, because the amount of time, the average time per boss then goes up quite a bit, and that's not something that you want to do for a long time. You want to make sure that everyone keeps making progress, and that the average time per boss goes down and doesn't stay the same, right?
Yeah.
All right. I think we covered a lot here. Is there any topic or anything specifically you want to go into a little bit more?
Not really. I have very few questions to begin with, so it was mainly the budgeting that I was curious about, and we already covered that.
Yep.
So.
It's looking nice.
Yeah, the inability. I was sitting on 20% crit before the Legion artifact came out, and then I just recently re-rolled it.
Okay, nice.
I had 6 or 7 mil honor EXP already ready, and I only used half of it. So.
Hey, it's better to only need half of it than to have only 3 mil and just lose it and then have nothing there, right?
Yeah.
Nice.
And then also, the mobbing also didn't have miso or item drop rate, and I got both of those.
Very nice. Yeah.
I'm pretty satisfied coming back for this past month of all the events. Been pretty good on my main, at least.
Yeah, nice. Do you have the 20 drop in the second one?
Yes.
Yeah, for the boss. Yeah, gotcha. Okay. Yeah, no, it looks solid. You're leveling up your skill. Are you gonna go into to IED here? No, you might not quote unquote like need IED, but it's still good, right? In terms of final damage on bosses.
Yeah, I think it's more FD in general, but I
Yeah,
don't
with the
think
XP, you know.
yeah. But the XP is maxed already.
Yeah.
I couldn't. So I was thinking the IED wouldn't add too much final damage anyway, since I'm bursting through every boss pretty easily, so it doesn't matter. I think optimizing damage for my mules with attack.
Yeah,
Even though the IED is probably better still, I don't.
for the
need
boss
IED.
mules, the IED might be quite decent, right? They tend to not be super high on IED. Like you have the 240%, or you use one of them at least, so your IED is just crazy.
Yeah.
What you can do is like make a bunch of level 4s though. Like level 4 is very cheap. So a bunch of level 3s and level 4s and just like spread it out a little bit more over like the stat, the attack, the IED, the buff duration maybe even, right, for terms and conditions.
Yeah. A lot of my boss mules already are sitting at 92, 93% IED. I don't know how, but I don't have any IED lines. It's kind of weird.
It's at 40% from Legion, bro. It's
Yeah.
crazy. It's so good.
Yeah, I remember like years ago, you had to optimize your IED, get it up to
Oh
like
yeah.
94%, and now it's just like, oh, I already have this. I don't need more IED.
You'd see people running around with like level 14 IED and everything else level 6 or something just to get damage out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's no longer the case.
I'm sure the IED is more FDA in general for the mules,
Mhm.
but it's not necessary for the content I'm doing.
No,
So I don't
gotcha.
think that-
Yeah, like I said, once you get most of it to like level 4, I think level 5 is very pricey. And they changed it now in the current update in Korea, right? They made the 4 a bit more expensive and less good. So we're gonna have to push for level 5 next event. Instead of what is it, 10, 20, 30, 35, 40, they made it 10, 20, 25, and then 35, 40. So the jump from 4 to 5 is gonna be better and more worth it. But I think for this event, a lot of level 4s is good value. Oh, is it today that we get to max the? Or is it next Monday that we have to get to max the EXP? Oh no, we already did that. Was it yesterday? 2 days ago? We maxed the extra.
EXP?
Yeah, EXP from dailies, right? From the grandest dailies on top of the MPE.
I did that a while ago. I don't know. I did that maybe last week.
Or was it the last one last week? Oh, dude, I forget all these things. Yeah.
I think it was last week. I maxed it.
many-
It's been maxed for a while, so I haven't thought about it.
Oh yeah, I have 15 points now. Yeah. So that must have been 3 logins ago. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Or the
maybe
first one
earlier
this week. Yeah, the first one this week probably. It was probably Wednesday. Yeah, that's probably what it was. Yeah. Oh yeah, because remember last week, like I really want the max edit, but you had to wait like until the next cycle came back. Yeah, I have a bunch of 4s. I didn't go for 40 on the boss damage. I probably will do that now. But like I have a bunch of 4s also because like arcane power, I wanted to do like it's extra final damage on black mage, right? So that's nice. But I also wanted to make the solos a bit faster. But there's some characters I wanted to do. I need to do like liberation v Hilla on. And they didn't even have enough arcane power to like do bonus damage there, so it helped them a lot. And then for the new burns as well, trying to do the monster park, the highest level monster park, when you have like, you're down like 200 arcane power, can actually start getting a little bit tricky. So I added some in arcane power there for that reason. But yeah, that's definitely very account related, whether you need that or not.
I see. So for a solo black mage, yeah, I think the number is like level 4 events, which is around 40, and then you get, is it 15 in your high percent, or is it lower than
that? No, I think 12 or 13. I think in total you need 100. You need 110 extra. You need to get to 1460, and typically you're 1320 plus extra 30 from the guild. You're at 1350, so you need 110. So if you're at 110 and you get 40 from the skill, then you need 70. And level 10 gets you 50, and then every level after 10 gets you 10 per level, so that would be level 12.
Okay.
Yeah, or you go level 13 and then level 3 in the skill.
Right. And then sometimes the event titles might have arcane power in there.
Yes, as well, yeah. And then you can go even lower. Yeah.
Yeah, because I haven't been soloing Black Mage, but it's something that I want to do in the near future. when I get my lib weapon. So that's been in the back of my mind, but I haven't thought about it that much.
Yeah, that'd be a nice challenge. Yeah, definitely take advantage of event, because that's just another 10% FD that's otherwise really, really hard to come by. And it's definitely worth the hyperstats points at that level, right? Because you're not going to be doing that much by getting like from level 13 to 14 or 14 to 15 on like boss damage or critical damage. It's nice, but it's not going to be the same. It's not going to be 10 FD nice.
Right,
it's not going to be on
exactly.
that level. Yeah. So that's definitely something to look into whenever there's an event like that. Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. I guess we can talk about the badge. I have the Monster Park badge that gives like 7 offset 7 attack. I'm not sure if that has any momentum forward until I get a Genesis badge.
Yeah, I guess it's slightly better for you now because of the boss accessory set is not doing anything anymore, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you got rid of the cup. Yeah, that's like 100 bill plus, right, to buy that. It's just ridiculous. I think I've got
yeah. I got 2 drops, and then I just like I sold one, kept the other.
Yeah, I think I've gotten 3 or 4, but I have done Monster Park 7 times a day for like the last 9 years, pretty much the whole time, or maybe like 8 years of it or something. And I think I've from all the boxes I've opened, I've gotten 3. So it's really not a realistic thing unless you just get super duper lucky and somehow have like 5 of them, and you just need to buy the last 2. Then maybe. But again, what are you really doing it for? It's like the set bonus for extra IED. What do you absolutely not need is for IED. Yeah. So, yeah, it's just not an option. It's really just Black Mage badge or nothing. For that, the real thing is going to be like, do you stay soloing or maybe duo with someone? As long as you know that you're going to have like prio for the badge, or are you going to extreme Black Mage at that point to try to get a better chance per run, but then probably have to split it with more people. That's always that's going to be the main question at that point, once you get to that point in the game, which won't be super far away for you, honestly.
Okay.
But yeah, that goes into like, can you exchange lib a bunch of your characters, right, with exchange carries for Black Mage as well? Then that's going to have a lot of value for running normal, plus getting 100% or 50-50 or whatever you decide for the badge, versus maybe more runs and sharing the mezzo. Well, the mezzo is still really good. It's still like 3 bill on a extreme BM run, so that's still really nice. But it's it's a juicy solar crystal for hard.
Yeah. So I guess for the potentials, I'm just thinking of anything I can come to mind, like questions wise. For potentials, I would. For 3 landing, I would prioritize accessories, right? Because they're cheaper.
Yeah. You got heart technically first, right? But you have that one already. Yeah. Heart and badge first, then accessories. And then I have to look for the specific order, but I think it's between, I think shoulder and pants have the same. So I think shoe and cape are slightly better than shoulder, shoe. Actually, we can check here. Fuck it. Let's write it down once and for all. Shoulder pants, I think. Let's see, we're just looking for 33 at level 200. Calculate. Damn, is it really that cheap? I always think it's way more. And I think that's the same as pants bottom. Oh no, pants are a little bit more. Okay. Was it shoe? And shoe is more. Oh, shoe is more. And then cape. Oh, cape might be the same as cape. Cape and shoulder are the same. Yeah, cape and shoulder are the same. Okay, and then shoes, then bottom, then top, and then hat.
I already do have 3 land on my cape and shoes, so. And my gloves I don't need to touch. So
so the shoes.
As far as arcanes go, there's only the cape there.
Yeah, it's mostly once the accessories are done. Because the accessories, I think, is quite a bit less.
Yeah, it should be a lot less. And most of my accessories are the ones that are not full 3 line.
Yeah.
So I won't have to spend too much on that.
See the best for last. You got a lot of that prime top line as well, so you get the most secondary stat from that If you add it all up, you have quite a bit of dex still, even though your
Yeah.
potentials are really good.
It won't be as big of a jump for sure if I had like an Ostat and a secondary.
Mm-hmm.
A secondary line.
44, 51, 60, 69%, and then 17, 86. And this one you keep. Yeah, so still 86% dex. Yeah, so if you divide that.
Yeah, I get a when I do my Maple Scardor, I'm surprised my dex is so high. It's like, why is
Yeah.
this? It does add damage at least, so not bad.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. 9, 10. Yeah, 10 lines. So it'd still be 30% strength. So it's like adding one whole line of potential, or one whole item's worth of potential to the whole thing. But yeah, of course it's a pricey one, that last one. But it's good to have. And yeah, and then double crit damage with stat on the glove, maybe, but you might be part of that first generation that actually starts going towards the limbo and doesn't even have to consider doing that once you start getting towards normal limbo.
It's such a small amount of damage too that I don't know if I want to throw money at that instead of just throwing at a mule. Right?
Yeah, for sure. It's mostly when people are considering double priming stuff. At that point, you'd have to double prime 3 items, right, to make 9%, or you can get 10% on the line on the glove. It's just cheaper than double priming.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So then they start doing that. But yeah, you'll have like hopefully Saren Emblem and 3-line, all of that before then. I would look into Saren. I mean, if you want to like solo progress only, then that's on you, of course. But if you want to make like a 3 or 4 man or like 2 or 3 man party for Saren, just to run that weekly to start getting that that emblem, that's probably worth your time, I think.
Yeah, I think I want to try and just solo that, so I don't have to worry about blinking for that emblem.
Yep.
Because I've already been sitting on my 2-line attack emblem that just looks so ugly, but
Yeah.
if I do see an emblem drop and I don't get the blink, that's gonna feel so bad.
Well, sometimes people have like, you know, supports that are pretty strong, but they just want they would just want a chance for boxes, and they'd be willing to run, and then it'd be kind of like a duo, but you'd still have priority of loot, right? See if you can, if there's a situation like that, I would definitely jump on it.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, we did like 4-mans for a while, and then as someone gets an emblem, we just keep running until everyone has one, and then, gotta do it that way.
Maybe after I live and I have trouble soloing Heart Saren, I might just consider finding a duo or trio. Doing that.
Or if you don't have too much time in a week, then you kind of like find a small party, and then otherwise you just solo it. Yeah. That's fair. Okay.
Can't think of anything else. I guess so. The future bossing list would be Sea Kalos and Calling, and then there would be Extreme Lotus into Extreme Black Mage, right?
Yeah, probably all of that before normal limbo, yeah.
Okay, and that's probably within half a year, if assuming everything goes well.
Yeah, your Hex is looking good, and your upgrades are solid, so... I mean, the Eternals can definitely accelerate that a bit, but Eternals are so hit and miss, right? Like, your first one could go to 22, and then you're basically set up for just immediately 4 setting once you have 4 pieces, and then you're just immediately making a huge upgrade, or your first... 4 of them could boom, and then maybe you decide to go for 19s instead or something like that, and then that can change a lot. Like the variability there, the variance is insane. Yeah, but that's more like the progress towards whether you want to be able to like solo Extreme Lotus and stuff like that. That's more like that, the jump to those, and then Extreme Saren with that, and But some of those bosses become like a choice as well. Like if you already have the drop, are you going to do like the extreme version of the bosses just for the small chance of the exceptional enhancement, right? That's more of the whether you have time for that and how much you want to spend on this game. And
Yeah, it adds up a lot when you start adding more bosses.
Because exactly. If you do all the things that you have access to, like sometimes I'll be doing a boss and it's like, oh, why aren't you soloing this boss? And it's like, well, just because if I draw the line there, then there's like 8 other characters I would have to draw the same line for, and now I'm bossing like 14 hours a day. So it's like you have to you have to put your foot down somewhere.
Yeah, I already feel that with my current Mules. I think most of my Elu Wheels already can do each Lotus, but it's probably going to be a 20-minute run, and I don't want to do that. Yeah, that's
rough. I always want to get it like, I think 15 is like the absolute most that I was running it, but I want to do 10 minutes or lower on Hard Lotus on them, just because then I also know that all the other bosses they're doing, that means I can do, normal will probably, or that I could also do hard Damien and easy will and normal Lucid, all within the G skills easily. Maybe squeeze in, like a normal Gloom and a normal Darknell if they're even stronger. If I get to like a 5 to 6 minute Hard Lotus, then I can squeeze those in as well. And I don't spend like a full hour per boss meal, but still it stays close to like anywhere between like 25 to like 35 minutes. That's kind of like where I want it. Like you pop like a half-hour coupon once you kill Hard Lotus, and then you kill everything else within the coupon. Like that's like my time limit essentially.
Yeah, makes sense. What I've been doing is just popping at the end of Pinot, and then just doing that.
Yeah, whichever boss takes the longest. Yeah. Yeah. So you have the max value from the thing, and then you can also pop the G skills like after, right? Because you don't need it for Pinot at all. Yeah. That's
and then you get the Pinot buff. Get the Pinot 30 attack, or is it 30 attack? I think it's 30 attack.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I started, well, it doesn't stack with everything, right? But I started, like, looking more at individually per character, like, do I need more rings on this character? Then I definitely want to do Princess Snow and all that. And if I don't really need more rings, I'll just, swap it out for Czak or something, that's, or for Fonbon or something like that, to still get my 14 crystals, but get a way faster one than Princess Snow, as long as I don't need to drop anymore. I've given up on the legendary familiar, like I've been going strong for a long time. I haven't seen it yet. I feel like at this point it's just not meant to be, so I'm letting that dream go.
If it does drop, it is tradable within your characters, right? It's
regular. Yeah, regular familiar that you can put through storage. Yeah.
Okay. I think that about covers it.
Yeah, I think we got through everything. You feeling good? You feeling good about tomorrow?
Feeling good about in 6 hours, 7 hours.
yeah, it's soon. Yeah, if you're for you it's early, so you're gonna be doing it pretty soon, right? Yeah, a little bit. Oh yeah, it's under 6 hours now. 5 hours and 45 minutes. There you go. Well, I'm sure it'll be fine, dude. I'm sure everything will be average or below cost, and then you can get those projects done, and then you can focus on the weapon and get some sick potential there. I've seen some sick flames that people have been hitting with all of these flames these days that make me super jealous. So I hope you hit one of those big ones, and then that's something that you can just not focus on anymore, and then you can just throw it all onto Eternals and pitches and try to get some crazy flames on there.
I guess speaking of flames, after the weapon, what would I throw it on? You think the Twilight Mark or like the book, maybe some of the arcanes?
For your account specifically, like in general, I would always just throw it on items that are longer, that are gonna have longer lives, right? Longer cycles, life cycles. There you go, on your account. But I think if you still have anything that can make a lot of gains, this area is super solid. It's all 140. A lot of flat stat here.
yeah.
That's a 140. Yeah, that's all fine. 105. That's solid. 16, 6. Well, you get quite a lot if you can get an eye patch on you, huh?
Yeah, I'm waiting for that. I haven't seen a single one yet. That's the only one I haven't seen besides the Mitras and the Genesis.
Oh, didn't hit the best flame on your slate. Did you get all of the scrolls back in the day?
Yeah, I did, but I was like, I only have 3 or 4 left, so I'm not gonna try again.
Oh, you did this with 3 or 4 left? Yeah, no, that's totally reasonable. Yeah, I hit like 2 flame score higher than the calculated average for all the flames when I had about 60 left, and I just stopped. I just let 60 of them expire. I just didn't want to risk it.
Yeah.
Because you saw some people with like a 127 and 5, and you're like, oh my god, that's so crazy. But yeah, someone in the guild I think it has like 18 strength and 20 dex or something, and that's it. And it's like, damn.
Yeah. I used most of my flames, and this was near the end, so I was like, okay, I'm just gonna settle with the odd stat and a little bit of main stat.
That's a reasonable settle for sure. Yeah, probably be the book. I'm guessing. Yeah, looks like the book, and then
I think it's the book and the mark are the two Twilight
yeah.
mark.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, once the mark is like over 100, this is almost like a 110 already. I feel like I'm fine with that, and I'd probably be looking at maybe even like Absos or Arcanes on other characters, just to try to get those up a little bit.
Okay.
And then towards Eternals. But yeah, if you don't have those yet, yeah, then you're just min-maxing on the current one,
Yeah,
so then it seems fine.
Yeah. I do see some people with Arcanes that are like 160 stat or 160 flame score and higher. So I was like, maybe I should push my Arcanes a little bit with Black Flames. But I'm not sure if that's reasonable to ask.
That's a maybe. I mean, you're at 142, 143, 140. I think for the stage you're in, 140 is definitely like the I don't know about like minimum, but that's probably like minimum settle. But like, man, I mean, to go from like 142 to 145, you know, or like what would be a flame score that you would be willing to settle for if you were to go past this? Like if you would be like, 145 is like good enough, then just look at like what do those 5 mesos cost, you know? So that 5 flame score, like how many flames does that cost, and is that worth it versus using those on a boss mule and maybe getting like 30 flame score there instead, you know?
I was trying to aim if I want to flame them, I'm trying to look for somewhere around 155.
Yeah,
but that seems like a big ask, but it's also not that much stat, right? So.
Yeah, and then I guess if you were like 5 or 6 weeks further into Eternals, then it'd be an easier it'd be an easier meme, right? Because at that point, yeah, then you could just be like, oh yeah, obviously use them on the Eternals. Our pal for Ren. That's 18-19 bill flame. And right now you have 5.5 bill flame, yeah. So it'd be like 15 bill for 12 stat.
Yeah, it's not much of a gain, but it is something that I can work towards.
You can work towards it. I mean, definitely if the other characters in your account don't have any purpose for Black Flames at all, then yeah, and you don't have your Eternals yet, and your book is a good flame, then you can definitely throw them onto the Arcanes. But as long as there is even like a reasonable gains to be made on the boss mules, I'd probably throw it on there, because yeah, you could make like 3 flames like your Arcanes on one boss mule for the same flames as gaining 12 stat on one piece on your main, right?
Yeah.
So that could be something in the order of magnitude of getting like 80 to 90 flame score on a mule versus 10 to 12 on the main.
Right. It's just the feeling of using Black Flames on not your main is pretty foreign. So.
Yeah, I mean, I would say like 6 months ago, 100%. Now, because we have so many, that shifts, right? It'll always shift towards the supply.
Yeah.
And if you don't hit, yeah, then yeah, you definitely want to keep using them on the main. But if you hit, yeah, and the value of a flame goes down so much on your character, then another position might just open up to be a better alternative. Yeah, and it'll just happen.
Yeah, that makes sense. You can always pray for the upside.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like when you're going for 23, like when you shouldn't be. It's like, oh, it's so much damage to get 23.
Yeah, the no stat on 23 is pretty disappointing though, but you just have to hold on to that number 23, and that's it.
Yeah. But if you add 23 on like 10 equips, right?
yeah, that adds up a lot, for sure.
Yeah, that's like 2 years though, right? 2 years.
Power and skill. Well, I mean, there's a few equips where it's reasonable, quote unquote reasonable, right? But then to scale that, it's kind of like with the familiar, the badge sets, right? Like there's a few of them you can get very easily, but getting those 10 for that last slot, that's for most characters, that's not nearly worth all the trouble, right? Mm-hmm. Now maybe a little bit more, because you can just farm the higher level ones with your character and just transfer them over. Your characters don't have to be there, but yeah, you can definitely find some things to 23 star, but yeah, I don't know about 10 items. You're gonna have to start hitting some pitches at that point, which is that's some Hail Mary stuff right there. All right. Are we?
Yeah, I don't want to take up any more of your time.
Yeah.
One last question, I guess. One last
Okay.
question is about
Go.
the totems. So I have 2 of the Afterlands. Right? Is the guild totems is it worth spending on that eventually? I don't know if it's worth it or not, honestly.
Fuck. What are the stats again? I don't have those here.
I don't remember. It's something like 7 all stat or 7 attack, right? But
Yeah, I
there's
think
also
with
the set bonus.
Yeah, with the set bonus. Yeah, let me just double check to make sure I got the numbers.
Because what does it cost? Also, like 3 bill.
500 mil each, so 1.5 bill for.
Oh, okay. I thought it was 3 bill each for some reason. I don't know why. Okay.
That would be pricey. That's like that's almost like buying the Monster Park badges.
Right.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. So yeah, it's 5 attack for the 2 set and 15 attack for the 3 set. So you'd be getting 5 extra attacks. It'd be 14 all and 19 attack.
I would have the 2 set, right?
Yeah.
That's the 2 set point. But I already have 20 strength, 20 dex with 14 attack power. It's such a small gain. It is a gain, but I'm not sure if I want to spend that money.
Was it 6 strength and 6 dex loss for 5 attack gain?
It is worth it for sure.
Yeah.
Maybe after the shining, I would do that.
Maybe eventually, yeah. Oh, but for now, you have the snow totems, right? They're a bit better.
Yeah, I want to throw them on my Dark Knight. I haven't claimed
Gotcha.
any of them. But so for boss mules, would you even buy them, or just go for Afterlands? I guess it's whether or not you want to do the events.
Yeah, whether you like to do the Afterlands. I did it one time, and it was just a little, I don't know, it was a bit much, and I make enough money, I just like go to the thing, click, equip, and just never think about it. For me, that was the go-to, but I didn't buy them immediately. I made sure that all my other upgrades were like reasonably done, and or you know, I'm just time gated on backups, right? And then I can just spend on it later, and then I bought them. Okay. I mean, yeah, if you're leveling up like 10 boss mules and you're spending 1.5 bill on each, it's still another 15 bill to think about. But yeah, it's just it's maybe a little bit.
Okay.
We call it short through the turn, but it's fine.
Yeah, I don't want to take any more of your time. Okay. Thank you so much. It really helped me a lot.
All right.
Plans for the next 6 hours. Yeah.
Yeah, no problem. You're very welcome. And yeah, we should, like I said, wish you best luck for tomorrow. And yeah, I'll see you around, right?
Yeah, good luck on your shining tomorrow.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'll probably be trying to 23 tap some pitches, so that'll be interesting to see if anything goes there. Spoiler alert, it won't, but you know, when we can dream, I guess.
Yep. All
right. Have a good one.
Have a good one.
Yeah, Merry Christmas and early Happy New Year and all that.
Yep.
All right, bye.
Bye. Thank you.
All right. So yeah, hopefully if you guys got the Shining Star Force event coming up as well, that shed a little bit of light on where I would prioritize spending the money. Again, you know, specifically with the amount of backups you have available is a very important thing to look at. So make sure you prioritize that. And then where you want to spend your money within your entire account, whether it's the main character that can benefit more, whether it's side characters that can benefit more. I do understand for sure that urge to finish those 22 arcanes. A lot of times, I'm kind of like good where I am if it feels like it's too risky. But you have a box, you have some backups, and you have this amount of droplets. I say you can go for it. Fuck it, dude. Just send it. Yeah, and if you're not sure if you're going to be using something as a backup, just hold on to it, you know. Just make sure you keep cleaning that inventory. But this is plenty of space, so this is good. If you're not sure if you should hold on to a backup, feel free to ask, and I'll help you out with that, okay? Cool. All right. Hopefully this was somewhat informational and useful for you. And if you want a session like this as well, check out the description of the video or check out !coaching over in the Twitch chat. And this was another session that I had given away for free this month. I give away a bunch every month. So make sure that you keep an eye on the YouTube channel and around the community posts around the middle of the month. That's when I post, and then that's where you can drop your name in the hat and potentially win a session as well. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one, and bye.